Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, one and all, wherever you are, whoever you are, to this week's edition of the Geeknd Live, where we are going to talk about this week's Star Wars news. And I feel like this week I'm not scraping the barrel as much as I have been in previous weeks. There's some cool stuff to talk about. So let me tell you what we have in store in this week's alleged entertainment. We shall discuss Hamill's hand. Yes, Mark Hamill has basically confirmed that plot, that opening scene, should I say, from The Force Awakens involving Luke Skywalker's severed hand from The Empire Strikes Back was true. It was part of the plan, was in the original script. So we'll see what Hamill said about his hand a little bit later. Also the Mandalorian, also the Mandalorian as well. Season 3 is rolling. We've got a little bit of news, actual news on that. And also Battle Droids. We're going to talk about Battle Droids because Matt Wood, voice actor, Lucasfilm sound editor, he said some interesting things about Battle Droids this week, I think at New York Comic Con, about explaining really George Lucas's thinking in terms of how their character, personality changed, level of skill changed as well from The Phantom Menace to Revenge of the Sith. So all that to come. But as always, this is a very interactive stream. And it's just as much about you guys and your thoughts on what we discuss. So let me pop over to the chat to see who's here. Well, first up, David is here. David, it's good that you said hello. You know, we're all friends here. It's good to have a nice sort of friendly greeting, but you know your job, David. I'm waiting for you to deliver on your job. I'm sure that's coming in a second. Simon D is in the house as well. Supreme Leader Brad Snoke over in Texas. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I know you're a little bit poorly at the moment. Hope this stream helps fill 30 minutes or so, depending if Chad the stopwatch Campbell turns up anyway. Hope it helps you a bit through your recovery. Anders is here as well. Mark O is in the house. And Jane Flakes is in the house temporarily, I think. Sorry to say this, but I only have an hour. That's okay. I'm saying that Chad hasn't arrived yet. When Chad hasn't arrived, this stream could go on for days. But in theory, we should be done in 30 minutes or so, Jane. So hopefully we'll have you for the whole stream, which would be cool. Simon D says, I'm looking sharp like a character in The Sopranos. Well, you know, mate, when in Mexico City, still in generic Mexico City Airbnb, by the way. Hey, Fabio, my friend from Italy, who has no interest in Star Wars, is here just for the hell of it, I presume. And Lash D is in the house as well. Good to see you, my friend. We have got a very global audience, which is always nice to see. Right, okay, so let's get into the first story, and then I'm going to pop back to the chat to get your views on this. So, Mark Hamill just confirmed. When I say just confirmed, you know, this was written on October the 13th, yesterday. So just confirmed yesterday, The Force Awakens almost had a much different beginning. Now, this isn't really, I guess, a bolt out of the blue for us. I think this was leaked, wasn't it? This theory, this alleged, now confirmed opening scene for The Force Awakens involving Luke Skywalker's severed hand. And I don't know if it ever got officially, or at least in any kind of way, addressed by, say, J.J. Abrams or anyone involved with The Force Awakens. But certainly now, at least, it has been, because Mark Hamill obviously had a copy of that original script. And this is some of the words on yahoo.com. Star Wars rumors emerge thick and fast on the internet. Don't we just know that? And now one about The Force Awakens has been confirmed by Luke Skywalker himself. That's a pretty good source, you know, the owner of the hand, for starters. Mark Hamill, who first played the iconic Jedi Knight in 1977's A New Hope, was on hand when an Uber Facts post informed Twitter the original script for The Force Awakens opened with Luke Skywalker's severed hand floating through space, still holding his lightsaber. So, of course, this is from The Empire Strikes Back, when Daddy Darth chops it off. And then Mark Hamill stepped in. Can you see that there? Yeah. Fact check. True. As my hand hurtled through the stratosphere, the flesh and bone burn away, and the lightsaber impales the surface of an unnamed planet. Bit of detail there. He continues. Just imagine, had this sequence, I'll try it again. Just imagine, had this sequence been retained, I would have had bookended cameos, plus twice the screen time. Because, of course, The Force Awakens, we don't see him till the very end of the film when he just stares. So, yeah, he would have bookended the film with interesting cameos. But I like that. Mark Hamill, very active on Twitter. And, he's very nostalgic as well. Like, he retweets a lot of kind of behind-the-scene pictures from, like, the 70s and 80s and what have you, and always adds value to them as well. Like, if he remembers a story from that day's shoot, whether it be members of the production crew or hanging out with Harrison or Carrie or Warwick Davis, he always adds value. So he's great on Twitter and also adds fun as well. Great sense of humor. I think he's a great Star Wars presence to have on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter and you're not already, then follow Mark Hamill. It's definitely worth it. But yes, so this didn't see the light of day. I presume it wasn't even shot. Not that they would have really needed Mark Hamill involved with shooting that scene. And yeah, we had the actual final opening scene featuring, as they say here in Yahoo, the mighty Max von Sydow's retired adventurer, Lor San Tekka. And of course, Max von Sydow, did he die last year? Anyway, rest in peace to the legend himself. That I personally liked the opening of The Force Awakens. We met new characters. We didn't know Max von Sydow. His character, Lor San Tekka. In fact, we never met him again. I'm sure he's popped up in books and comics and what have you. But we met Poe, we met BB-8, Kylo Ren. I enjoyed that opening of The Force Awakens. I remember hearing the rumor about the hand thing before the film came out, and never did it for me, really, to be honest. So I'm probably happier with the opening scene that we ended up getting more than the one that we didn't. What do you guys think to that? Popping back over to the chat. Abnunga, yeah, we don't see you often. You're in New Zealand, aren't you, mate? We don't see you that often on the live streams, but good to see you for this one. Yeah, so apparently the blade was supposed to be active while it's hurtling through space, and it does seem odd. To be honest, I don't like the idea of that scene. I'm glad it didn't see the light of day, to be honest. And also, yeah, because it just doesn't make sense, really. As Simon D has also added, wouldn't the blade stroke hand be in Bespin somewhere, not space? Unless someone got hold of it and chucked it. I don't know. It's just odd. It's just odd. And I'm glad it never saw the light of day. Evan, hope you're well, my friend. What episode was Force Awakens again? What was it? It was episode 7. Yeah, episode 7. Lose count, 9 films. It's a lot for me to try and count. Right, Supreme Leader Brad Snoke. The hand and blade have since been addressed in the comics as having been recovered by a Force ghost in its fall. Okay, all right. So it would have been one of those things, I guess, that might have confused people at the time, but it would have been addressed later in comics and books. As Brad has pointed out, it actually has been anyway. Okay, that's interesting. I always do like, when, for example, when Darth Maul pops up at the end of Solo, I always do, even though, I know I don't read that many books and I don't read, the comics that often, but I keep across things as much as I can. So I will find out what things mean eventually, but I always think about the more casual film goers in the audience. I think I saw Solo with my dad, who's not a huge Star Wars fan. He enjoys watching the films and that's it. And he was just like, hang on, didn't that guy get, cut in half in one of the other films? So I sometimes, I think if you're opening a film with something that's potentially confusing, that will only really be explained in a comic or book later, is perhaps a bit risky for a lot of the audience, losing them straight away or confusing them straight away. But anyway, it didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. JJ Dawes is here. Most of Disney Star Wars makes no sense, like Luke becoming a jaded hermit. Phil Hawkins is in the house as well. And Gaz Nottingham. Gaz is here, who is also happy with what we got with the Force Awakens opening. Nice concept, but they made the right choice. I agree. It was exciting and it was captivating, and it introduced us to the new characters straight away, which I think, or some of them, which I think was the right way to do it, to be honest. And Simon D says, I like the beginning, first 20 minutes of Force Awakens until the Falcon shows up unguarded under a tarp in the middle of nowhere. The film starts to fall apart after that for me. I agree. It's a strong, strong opening. I like The Force Awakens. I think it did its job of setting up a new trilogy, introducing old fans and new fans to new characters, reintroducing the same fans to, Vulcan, classic characters as well. I know not everybody likes the way certain characters were dealt with, but I think it did a solid job at kicking off a new trilogy. I think it was a bit too safe. I'm not the first person to say this. There was a lot of a new hope about it, wasn't there? To the beat almost. But I think it did a solid job for what it needed to do. Anyway. I am going to bring up the second story, everybody. If I've missed anything, I always say hello to everybody. I try to anyway. I even said hello to Fabio. Again, Fabio doesn't even like Star Wars. Don't know what he's doing here. I assume he's left by now. Anyway, what we're going to do now is story 2. Hi, big screen again. And I've got to do the really awkward thing. I don't know why. This StreamYard. StreamYard's great, yeah? And I'm not on commission. But why can't you tee up different screens? So you don't have to do it manually each time. Hey, StreamYard, if you're one of the 15 people currently watching this stream in my yard in Mexico City, help me, please. Make my stream smoother. All right, The Mandalorian, everybody. So, some actual news. Not like actually from Disney or Lucasfilm, but it's come from Carl Weathers. Which is good enough for me, to be honest. Grief Karga himself. So he tweeted this. This is on Cinema Blend 1 day ago, this article anyway. So I assume his tweet was 1 day ago as well. For Mandalorians, Carl Weathers confirms return for season 3. But where's Pedro Pascal? Always has to be drama created, doesn't there? Grief Karga will be back, but who will be behind the Mando helmet? This is not... I'll come on to this in a second. It does annoy me a bit. I know we've got to create drama, and I'm guilty of it sometimes as well. But this is such an old drama. Like, why? Anyway, right. First of all, The Mandalorian. These are the words of Cinema Blend. The Mandalorian is coming up on a year since the season 2 finale that changed everything. And 2021 will end without debuting the new season, which is a shame, but we've got the Book of Boba, of course. Fortunately, one Mandalorian fan favorite just confirmed that he's returning for season 3. Carl Weathers will be back for the 3rd season, and the actor has a message for fans about it. And of course, let's add some drama, but what about Pedro Pascal? Carl Weathers doesn't mention Pedro. Okay, here's what Carl Weathers said on Twitter. Mandalorian Season 3 begins for yours truly on tomorrow. So he tweeted this on October 12th. Grief Karga will be back on Disney+. #BPs. Now, Carl Weathers has he definitely directed an episode in Season 2. I can't remember if he directed an episode in Season 1, so we don't know if he's coming back with his director hat on, but he's definitely back as Grief Karga, which is cool. We only got Grief Karga in 1 episode, I think, Season 2. He was quite heavily featured in Season 1, and I'm sure it's just 1 episode or 2 episodes in Season 2. But I'm assuming he's not going to have a prominent role again. Could be wrong, obviously. but at least we are going to see him for a episode, which is cool. So the Pedro thing, right? So Pedro Pascal, Cinema Blend have done some detective work here. Pedro Pascal confirmed in late September, so obviously only a matter of a couple of weeks ago, that he was in Canada shooting the HBO adaptation of The Last of Us, which is a huge deal, massive budget, and I believe it's tying Pedro Pascal up, a very heavy schedule. So Cinema Blender, wondering what's going to happen, because if they're filming now, if Carl Weathers is on set now filming season 3 of Mandalorian, well, who's gonna play Din? Well, the fact of the matter is, this was the case for season 1 and for season 2. It's no secret that Pedro Pascal was not always in the suit. Obviously it's normal to have particularly stunt doubles, but he also wasn't in the suit for even just casually strolling around in his Mandalorian armor. He was not there for a lot of season 1 and season 2. Of course, he was there when he absolutely had to be there, i.e. helmet off, and he was there for some of the scenes in the suit as well. There were rumors of him being difficult in season 2 because his face wasn't being seen enough, and that was not true. In fact, that's been shot down twice on this channel by the 2 actors, Richard Brake and Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, who I interviewed, who worked with Pedro Pascal on The Mandalorian. So all I'm saying is Pedro Pascal is a big star. He has other projects on the go. He can't always be there. That'll be something that's been communicated to Disney before the contracts are signed. It's not anything out of diva-like behavior. I'm sure of that. And the fact of the matter is, once again, this has been the case in season 1 and throughout season 2, and it will be clearly for season 3 as well. And they've got a number of doubles that stand in for Pedro. One of them is Brendan Wayne, who I think is the grandson of John Wayne. So there you go. There's no drama, but it's cool to know that this is finally happening. I kind of don't really think of it as I feel like I've been trained to think of the Book of Boba Fett as season 3 of The Mandalorian, and actually The Mandalorian season 3 is going to be The Mandalorian season 4, or is Boba season 2.5? I don't know, but someone made some comments recently who worked on the Book of Boba. Was it? I think it was Brendan Wayne, saying that it very much felt like a continuation of The Mandalorian. I don't know whether that was sort of because the same crew, because the same volume in LA, or because of any storyline. I don't know. But anyway, the Book of Boba is coming first, which we know about. So it's right at the end of this year. All right, let me pop over to the chat. Oh, Fabio is still here. I do know you. I know you all too well. JJ Dawes. So, Jamie, you got kicked out of your shed and are now in Mexico City smuggling drugs. Couldn't possibly comment. But I am in Mexico City, and I'm in Airbnb, baby. So, this is not my on-brand stuff behind me for the channel. Maybe I'll get some stuff while I'm here. Star Wars stuff. Maybe I'll smuggle some Star Wars stuff while I'm here. Not death sticks. Right. Jane Flakes. I must admit that I am quite looking forward to season 3 of Mando. Maybe we will get to see Grogu again. Now, I agree. I am also looking forward to it, more so than the Book of Boba. But the Grogu thing, I want Grogu and Din to be reunited. I really want that. But it can't happen straight away. It would hurt me, but I almost feel like that's got to be another season, season 4. At the very least, the season finale, maybe, of this season, they get reunited. But it can't happen straight away. That was too big a thing. Simon D, Carl Weathers, that's just my opinion, of course. Carl Weathers will also be back on the big screen next month in the re-release of Rocky IV Director's Cut. There we go. busy times for Carl Weathers, who is a legend, as JJ Dawes has said there. If I've missed any comments, please copy and paste them back in. Jane Flakes again, the joy of a suited up figure whose face you don't see. They can use whoever is around. Exactly. This would have been something from day one when Pedro Pascal signed up for the role that would have been communicated from his team, you know, not out of diva-like behavior. This would have been in the contract, you know. Excuse me. So anyway, what else? Evan. I think it was Michael Keaton who said it best. Let the suit do all the acting. Yeah, and he's back in the suit, isn't he? And pay them accordingly. Hollywood. That's from Nunga. I don't know if I ever pronounced that right. Do I pronounce it right? Right. Now, one more story. There's no Chad the Stopwatch Campbell, but I reckon we can do 30 minutes still. Let me do the thing, the clunky thing again. Why can't you tee different web pages up at once, StreamYard? You know, I'm a smooth criminal, apparently, according to JJ Dawes. I'm a smooth operator normally, but your clunky system is clunking up the stream. All right, then. This is kind of fun. I don't know if anyone saw this. It wasn't a big story, but it caught my eye. You know, I like the kind of no, it's the wrong thing. You know, I like the kind of behind the scenes, kind of trivia side of things. And David, I've just noticed you still haven't done your job of saying hit that like button, everybody. So I'm going to do it for you. Hit that like button, everybody, because David normally turns up and he says that, and Chad, the Stopwatch Campbell, tries to keep us to time. But David might have gone. Chad just never even bothered to show up. Hey, Caleb, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Just the second soprano comment I've had today. Oh, David did. I take it all back. David's still here, and he's here defending himself. He did it earlier, and I missed it. I'm sorry, and thank you for your commitment to the cause, David. And Simon D is stepping into the stopwatch's shoes. Thank you, Simon. David, by the way, really light speed tonight and what have you. I filmed it all before leaving the UK, so I will be in touch soon. You must be too busy anyway with a life and a little one and all that. So I'm sure you haven't been missing my email, but you will be receiving one from me soon. That's a Jamie soon. Hey, Phil. I did see you earlier, didn't I, in the chat? I don't know if I said hello, but hello to you. Right, anyway, let's get this final story up because I've got Simon breathing down my neck now with the timings. New York Comic Con was on, I think it was last weekend. And there were some interesting comments from a man who I'm about to talk about. So first of all, a question. Have you noticed how the battle droids throughout the prequel trilogy kept getting worse at their jobs? They started off in The Phantom Menace, fairly adequately skilled. And then by Revenge of the Sith, they were reduced to being bloody useless. Or ridiculous, to use the word of Matthew Wood. So Matthew Wood is Lucasfilm's sound editor and voice actor. He voiced General Grievous, Poggle the Lesser, no less. Also Bib Fortuna in The Phantom Menace and The Mandalorian Season 2 post-credit scene for the Book of Boba as well. In fact, I think he was the physical form of Bib Fortuna in that post-credit scene also. Plus, he voiced the battle droids in the Clone Wars. So along with his sound work, he's well-placed to talk about this. And at New York Comic Con recently, he addressed the change in battle droid standards. Now, I've done some production, baby, for this week's stream. I've prepared some quotes from him. Some slates. Here we go. His slate one. So these are the words, more words now from Matthew Wood. The idea there was because when we worked on The Phantom Menace, some of the battle droids had a much more serious tone. And then as we went on into the next couple of films, they got a little more ridiculous. More words from Matthew Wood in my voice. The idea that George had was that the CPUs that were put into the battle droids were very expensive. So in order to mass produce all those droids, they have to kind of tone down some of these elements more, because they would do really well against clones sometimes, but against Jedi, they could just be completely destroyed by all the Jedi because they just didn't have the programming. And then by the time we got to the Clone Wars, that was kind of their way of working. So I thought that was quite interesting, because it's not something that sort of kept me up at night, but I have always wondered, why did they start kind of more sinister and serious, at least in tone, in The Phantom Menace, and then just become a joke, basically, by Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, this explanation from Matthew Wood does make sense. I don't know how necessary it was, but you've got to applaud George Lucas's attention to detail, even though it's quite often secretive detail. But yeah, with years of the battles and all of the wars, the Separatists did have to cut corners, to keep up. And it would seem, therefore, that the programming was apparently the most cost-effective thing to cut back on. Plus, I think this is actually probably why, therefore, they get a bit, this explains why they get quite dim-witted, why they become more like comedy characters, as I mentioned. I think that kind of explains it quite well. Whether it was one of those sort of ideas George Lucas had afterwards, to explain things, or whether it was a genuine idea in advance, who knows? But yeah, particularly in the Clone Wars animated series, the Battle Droids are, there for comedic moments, shall we say, from a certain point of view. So that was interesting, wasn't it? Right, let's have a look in the chat. He was defo, so he was the physical Bib Fortune in The Phantom Menace. I'm pretty sure then he was in the Book of Boba as well, physically. Definitely the voice, but physically. Yes, they sure did get ridiculous. Roger, roger. Off topic from JJ here, Jamie, off topic. But are you excited for Indiana Jones 5? No, I'm not excited. I'm not counting down the days to the release. Do we even have a release date? I'm seeing some of the behind the scenes, there's some fun photos of Harrison Ford posting with like Indiana Jones cosplayers, I think, in Italy. There's been loads of, stories coming out of the UK where they're doing most of the filming. So I'm interested, but I wouldn't say I'm excited. No, I just don't get excited anymore in life, just life in general, to be honest. Must be getting old. What about you, JJ? Are you excited? Is anyone excited in the group? But yeah. And Simon D has added, in regards to the Battle Droids, sounds more like Microsoft software. Clays is here. Hello to Clays. And Abnunga has, who apparently my pronunciation is okay, has said cell phone software, international slowdown. Meanwhile, Jane Flakes on Indie, another indie film. Oh my word, I could not forgive them using a fridge to survive nuclear blast. Yeah. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do with this. I know it's, because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is involved. So I know that's got some people worried. Not me. He's a very talented writer and actor. But I know that's got some people worried. Also the same people that worried about her involvement in No Time to Die as well, I imagine. North Dwarf. Good to see you. All right, okay. Confession now. I'm hungover. So my speech has been worse than ever. I'm hungover. I got one of those accidentally drunk things last night, because I don't drink that much anymore, to be honest. So when I do, it does hit me harder, it seems. And there was no plan of getting drunk. It was just meet somebody for one, and yeah, we all know the rest. North Dwarf says, I am more excited for Indy 5 than Star Wars sequels. Cool. Is there a release date for Indy 5? Phil asks, when do you think Harrison Ford will retire from acting after Indy 5? Will that be his last film? I don't know. It would be the right time to go out, wouldn't it? Well, we don't know how this film's going to end, do we? But will I'm sure the indie franchise will continue. So is he going to hand over the baton at the end of this film to somebody else? Or is he going to do another? Will it be 6 and out? I don't know. He strikes me as one of those people that as long as he physically can, he will keep on working. And of course, money's involved. But like, I always think as well, like, I would personally want to continue doing some sort of work as long as I physically could. I think physically and mentally, it's a good thing as long as the work's not too stressful, of course. So maybe that's how Harrison Ford sees it. But of course, I'm talking about, maybe just working in a little quiet shop, in my retirement. Harrison Ford is working on action movies. Of course, he has stunt doubles. But anyway, we are 31 minutes in, I see. So I think we will wrap up. If there's any, hey, Powered Droid Girl, Indiana Jones ended with Last Crusade for me. I hope the reasons why are self-explanatory. I think most people will get where you're coming from there. All right, everybody. I think that's it. So we'll be back next week. I don't know if this time's working. I don't know if it's working. It's certainly not working for Chad the Stopwatch Campbell, is it? Showing up right at the end, hey? It's your fault, Chad. If you were here, it would have been 30 minutes. Easy. We are going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap it up. JJ says so. And Simon D, thanks to all of you. And we will catch up on the next stream. So let's do this. Let's try this time again next week. And I won't be hungover, and maybe I won't stumble over words so much. Probably still will, but I won't be hungover because I'm usually very, very professional. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. Take care. And see you all soon. Keep waving, everybody. You got to keep waving till I click on end broadcast. Keep waving. Broadcast.